for years you've been talking about the need for us to be prepared for disaster preparedness. Do you think we've been improving so far?
We should do it faster. And I think I've submitted more than 80 recommendations to the government since Ondoy. And the 2 years I worked for government in 1975-77 for the World Bank funded Metro Plan Manila. Many of our recommendations were not followed, and it would have addressed many of these disasters.
Yes.
And because there seems to be no institutional memory, one administration to the other, they don't seem to follow what was put forward in the
previous administration.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we know the problems, we know the solutions, and we've been able to help other countries. Like I've done work in 38 countries, and much of my work there, they were recognized and followed. And unlike in our country, many of those we've been putting forward are not strictly followed.
What should we, out of the recommendations that you have given, which ones should we at least do immediately?
Yeah, one that has been done is the hazard mapping, Project NOAA. We put that forward 2009. But the others, I don't remember. But right now, lessons learned from
this one.
From this one. Because like the old churches, respectively, they were not designed structurally. And elsewhere in the world, heritage buildings are retrofitted. Because you have thick walls, thick columns, you could put inside reinforcing bars.
To make it stronger.
And it's being done here also, like Manila Cathedral and San Agustin Church.
Okay.
So lessons learned from here. Maybe we should look at now the churches in Ilocos, the heritage homes in Silay, the church in Taal, and several heritage places.
What do you think are the most notable designs these days?
I think just having a balance of the old and the new is what makes it modern now. There's a lot of vintage inspired designs that you can actually tweak and make it more modern, and using different materials as your base, from wood to stingray exotic skins to leather. I think it makes it more fresh.
Yeah, I find it interesting because before I used to think that when you talk about jewelry, it's only diamonds and gold. So it's nice to know that we're looking at semi-precious stones, and as you mentioned, stingray skin.
Yes.
Yes,
Really?
yes, stingray.
As in a stingray.
Yes, yeah.
How different is it? Why did you use it as a material for your pieces?
Stingray is actually one of the most durable leathers, actually. So it doesn't crease, it doesn't stain as fast as other, like maybe land animal skins. It's also the color saturation of it when dyed is just so beautiful. As you can see, it has all the colors.
Yes.
So is there a verdict so far? Which ones can be restored and which ones would have to be reconstructed?
Okay. We have major problems with Loon and Maribohok, and to some extent Lobok. However, the other churches, Baclayon, seems to be salvageable. Although this opinion might be subject to change if the structural engineers rule otherwise. There may be hidden damage that we have not even seen yet. So we're probably going to schedule some kind of scan equipment to be used on the churches. The assessment made this last few days was a rapid assessment, eyes only, and to determine which churches are going to be the priority. While we were there, we also checked the churches that are scheduled for declaration. And many of them have suffered damage, although not to the same extent as Lobok, Loon, or Maribohok.
And I think this is your first horror film.
Yeah, this
what
is
made
my
you decide to do a horror film?
Well, basically, I'm supposed to do 5 films under Solar. Okay, and I'm supposed to do a genre movies, and this is one of the films I'm supposed to do, an horror film. But the nice thing about it is that I was given the full creative freedom about the choice of the stories, and I also try to, even if it's a genre horror film, meron pa rin siyang social issues, hindi pa rin siya nawawala doon.
And I think we would bring up the fact that in the plot, It's well, sapi is exorcism.
Yes,
Yes.
possession, to be
Possession,
possessed.
yeah.
But this is a media
Yes.
satire. Is
Yes.
this where the social reality
Yes.
comes in?
Yes, that's where the social reality is actually coming. Basically, Sapi is a film about the paranormal phenomenon of the evil possession, spirit possession, parang ganon. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real story actually is the parallelism between this demonic possession and the rivalry between two networks about TV ratings.
It's a classic reflex phenomenon given the severity, the tragedy which has hit the Philippines, that the international community, the rest of the world, civil society, put their hands in the pockets, donate money, provide goods, international organization also provide goods in response to the call for from the government. It takes a few days to mobilize all of this.
The World Vision is not just a relief organization, it's a child-focused development organization, really looking into the needs of children, especially in a disaster context like this. And so we look on the special needs in terms of their health and their psychosocial condition. We have this program after we have provided, some immediate needs like the food and the water and the hygiene kits and all this. But later on, somewhere along the way, we will have to help the children cope from the disaster. We are you could imagine the kind of trauma or effect this brings to the children, even the adults. So
Yes.
how much more with the children? So we have to walk them along